They say you are what you eat, so I don't eat chicken feet. But I love me some of Grandma's pickled beets. Well, cut it up, put it in the pan, throw it over your shoulder and see where it lands right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Maters, taters, beans and corn, the cows in the barn and the sheep's been shorn, kids in the barnyard chasing Grandpa's chicken. Spices, slices, cuts and dices, gonna slash your grocery prices right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Help you grow your garden good with recipes to suit your mood. Try some grub you've never tried before. Smash it with a wooden mallet, gonna educate your palate. Right here in Farmer's Kitchen, in Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We're gonna cook something good now.
Hello and welcome to the Farmer's Kitchen. I'm a farmer. She's not, but you've seen her on our show before. Her name's Beth Carter, and she's amazing.
Thank you.
You have bakery items that I cannot resist. Recently, for Valentine's Day, I think you had a. Tell me about your cinnamon roll, which was just silly.
We created a chocolate-covered strawberry cinnamon roll. Our homemade cinnamon rolls with strawberry glaze and a homemade chocolate ganache drizzle on top to make it even better.
And way back, well, let's go way back. What was it you made for us the first time?
The cake with the plop on the top.
Oh, and then not too long ago, the wonderful Yule log,
That was
which was
beautiful.
a hit at our party.
And then we got to eat it afterwards. It's nice.
So we're going to switch it up. You know, you have been around the world, you've been cooking all over the place, and you wanted to make something a little bit different. I mean, you're going to use lamb tonight. Now, if you didn't use lamb, somebody doesn't want to use lamb, they could use hamburger.
Yes, they could use ground beef or
So what are you
turkey.
making?
We are going to make a Mediterranean shepherd's pie. Yeah, it's delicious.
So let's get started,
excited.
because the more we talk, the less we eat.
Right, right. All shepherd's pies have their base, which
Right.
is tomato-based, kind of like a stew. And that's what we're going to do first. But we're going to top this, instead of with mashed potatoes, with sweet potatoes.
Yum.
It makes it even better. So the first thing we do is we're going to get some oil in our...
Let me turn you on some heat.
Thank you so much. Lamb, you know, because it's so lean, you need to help it out a little bit with some olive oil, and it's less smoke and a better taste. So the first thing you do is we have chopped some onion and garlic, so we want to start with that. Yeah, we do need help stirring.
I have been your stirrer in the past.
You have.
I almost messed
Good
up.
and bad.
Yeah,
I know.
I almost messed up on something not too long
right.
ago. So we got onions.
And then maybe 2 cloves of garlic. Okay, so once our garlic and onions are translucent, then we're going to add some fresh herbs. And my preference for this is fresh thyme and rosemary.
Yum.
2 to 3 teaspoons of fresh thyme and fresh rosemary that are chopped. So once you've stirred that in, now it's time to stir in the lamb.
Am I getting paid for this?
No,
My wife always says I'm a stirrer-upper.
you're a stir-upper, you're a chopper.
Shopper.
So we're going to add a pinch of salt,
I like a pinch or two.
and then we'll re-season after we get all the goodies.
Oh, that just smells wonderful. Now this is lamb. Remember, this is ground
That is
lamb.
lamb. And now this is my favorite spice, cumin.
Ooh, cumin is good for you. You know, that's an old world spice.
It is everything that I make spice. So I put about 2 teaspoons of cumin. So we're going to we're going to brown the lamb till it's all the way done.
And we're just going to leave that fat in there, right?
We're going to leave it all. Lamb is lean, but it's also the olive oil. And what happens at the end is any extra olive oil soaks into those sweet potatoes, and it's just the best. It's delicious because it's flavored. So once you get your, once the lamb is done or browned, we're going to turn the heat down because we don't want to scorch our tomatoes. And we're going to add a large can, it's probably about 15 to 18 ounces of crushed tomatoes. So once you get to this point, we're going to add some chicken stock or chicken broth.
Gotcha.
And I've already
Always save your chicken stock.
Exactly, and just keep it in the freezer, and then you've always got some. So we're going to pour in, this is a 16-ounce container, so we're going to start with 8 ounces and stir it up and see what it looks like. You want this to be more stew-like, and it will thicken up. That looks good to me, because the next wonderful thing that we're going to add is roasted vegetables. We're going to pre-roast butternut squash. So I use one squash. You're gonna peel your squash, cube it, and toss it in olive oil and some cumin and some salt, and it'll bring out the sweetness. And throw it in the oven along with some carrots. Carrots are sweet as well, so I put a little salt on these too. So here's your carrots. That's about 3 carrots.
How am I doing?
You're doing great. You are doing great. You are quite a stirrer.
I'm a stirrer-upper.
Stirrer-upper. Now, do you see how that's getting thick?
Oh, yeah.
It's thickening up, and now at this point, we take a look at it and we say, do we need any more broth? Because once you heat it in the oven, it is going to thicken up a little bit more. I am going to add just a tiny bit more.
Now, what a lot of people don't know is this is actually our kitchen. This is not a set. Many shows it's a set, and but this is our home.
Yeah.
Back here, and we'll have Kelly show a picture of this later. Your main squeeze is over here.
Your
Nikki's
main
right
squeeze
there.
is over
And
there.
There they are.
Yes.
They're watching us. Oh, that's just
So
that's
look at
just
this.
beautiful.
And so maybe another pinch of salt, and then you can try it and tell me what you think. What do you think?
Oh wow! Doesn't need
Perfect.
anything. It's beautiful. Oh my!
There's our actual shepherd's pie. You can let this sit while you work on your sweet potatoes, but we're going to turn off the heat.
Turn the heat off, okay? You want me to hand you this so you can do this?
Yes. So then what we do for this amount of stew, we're going to parboil a 5-pound bag of sweet potatoes. And once they're finished, then they're so easy to peel. You don't have to use a peeler. I don't peel them before. I peel them after. The peeling just
Nothing to
peels
it.
right off. Right. So we are going to use an old-fashioned potato masher here. We're going to add some heavy whipping cream. So we're going to add about 1/4 of a cup first. See where this gets us. They need to be like a standard mashed potato that you would eat, for dinner. Just a pinch of salt and some pepper.
So I see all your containers are empty, so I'm
I think we're
guess
ready.
that we're close.
It is. So we're going to take this pan right here.
Okay.
And we're gonna pour the stew into it. And you can use just a basic, like a casserole dish, or these are restaurant hotel pans as they're called. What you will find if you let it sit till it's cool, some of the olive oil will surface, and you can just take a spoon and just kind of skim some of that off of the top. But I think that it makes the sweet potatoes underneath even better. So this is the tricky part. That's why you want to make sure your stew on the bottom of your pie is thicker, because these will sink to the bottom and you kind of will have a disaster if you don't.
So you have preheated the oven, correct?
We have to 350 degrees.
To 350. So we're going to pop this in.
We're going to pop this in, and
How long?
it's almost dinner time. Just until it's warm. So I would say maybe 20 minutes.
At
Just
350.
check it at 350. Everything is already pre-cooked, so it just needs to marry each other. So anyway, you could also garnish with a
My
little
grandfather
fresh
used to
thyme.
say, needs to get acquainted.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
You can't eat that. It's too pretty.
It is. Look how it's caramelized on the edges.
Oh. I was talking not too long ago. It's wintertime, so, I intentionally put on a few pounds in case I'm out in a blizzard, because you need that extra body weight.
Right.
And they
Just in case.
Yes, and they say never trust a skinny chef. So I'm becoming more and more trustworthy every day. Look at that. Now look at that. That looks like a pretty representative bite. I got a little bit of the top on there. Got some roasted vegetables, tomatoes. That is so good.
Isn't that good?
That is
And
ridiculous.
it is. And then the taste, just all those flavors just keep going in your mouth after you've bitten into it.
That's a beautiful thing. You got that little, and the lamb. Do lamb if you can. I mean, if you haven't tried it, give it a shot.
And try it.
Yeah.
Just try it. You'll be pleasantly surprised. This is a pleasant dish to where you can kind of ease into eating something like lamb if you've never tried it before.
All right, let's get our better halves up here real quick. I got to try it. He can eat off your plate. Can
He can.
All right,
I
you
want a
ready?
bite. Yeah, I want a bite.
What do you think?
I love it.
I know.
Oh,
He got
wow.
to. Isn't that good?
That is
Well,
so
it's
delicious.
really
Yes,
good.
poor Kelly.
Kelly doesn't get any.
I know.
Have you had this before, Barry?
It's his
I had a
favorite.
bite today.
That's really good.
I could probably eat half of that.
We got a lot to eat. We can sit down and eat for hours.
Yes.
We're gonna be miserable. We won't be able to walk by the end of the night.
Oh,
That is really good.
thank you so much
You're
for coming
welcome.
out and cooking
It's
for
my
us.
pleasure.
This is wonderful.
Thank
and
you.
And name it again. It's a Mediterranean shepherd's
Pie.
A la.
Using lamb, and look, he cannot stop.
I knew it.
I know.
It's
He needs his
also
own
on his
plate.
history here in a minute.
Get him his own plate. He's out of control. So that's a wrap on this part of it. We're going to turn the lights out. We're going to sit down and eat like normal people, and then we'll be back with something else in just a second. Don't you love everything Beth cooks?
I do. She's a great cook.
When you walk past the bakery, you know, when the early morning
Yes.
donuts are being cooked,
That's
I
right.
know what heaven smells like.
That's right.
But you know what? It's getting that time. Everybody's wanting to plant some plants and get their garden going. We want to keep this simple. So we're going to do a segment here, and we're going to Kentucky State University. Beautiful farm
Oh, yeah.
out in Frankfort. Just a wonderful place to visit. And they're doing all kinds of interesting things out there in aquaculture, with goats, with pawpaw trees.
They have everything out there.
I mean, just amazing. But I wanted an expert who could talk to folks on a very simplistic level for those who might be wanting to start a garden who've never done it before. So I talked to Megan, and she said she would help us. So she's going to step us through the very simple process of starting your own tomatoes, and she's going to do that right now. Today we're at Kentucky State University. This is Megan Goins, farm manager. You know, we were talking earlier about how many people have turned on to gardening the last couple of years. Even pre-pandemic, there was a lot of people, like from 2005 to 2013, the numbers went through the roof. During COVID, 18 million more gardeners came on board. A lot of those were millennials. So are you surprised at those numbers?
Not at all.
What do you think that caused that?
I think people are more aware of where their food comes from, and they want to know how it's being grown, what's put on it, how it gets to them. I think people are taking a bigger interest in where their food comes from.
Now here at KSU, I can imagine there's a whole lot of folks that you're around that you want to teach these things to and have never been hands-on. Today we're just going to talk about, so many people want to grow tomatoes.
Yes.
We know that, and we know why, because they're wonderful. And also peppers. Those are two things that are probably used in more recipes: tomatoes, onions, and green peppers.
Yeah.
So today, can you walk us through, let's pretend like folks out there have never done any gardening at all. Can you walk us through how you would start your tomatoes in home?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first you want to decide, there's thousands of varieties of tomatoes, and so you want to decide which ones you like and which are suited for the area that you live in and will grow well. There's different tomatoes that are disease and pest resistant. So I think that's the first step, is decide which kind of tomatoes you want. You get your seed. There's tons of different ways to garden. You can start your seeds in a greenhouse. You can start them outside. Today we're starting our tomatoes in a greenhouse. So we'll prep our soil, we'll get it moist, we'll put it into the seed trays, we'll get our seed ready.
Where do you order seeds from? Do you just kind of look through catalogs? How do you do that?
There are tons of different places you can buy seed. There's places online. They have tons of different varieties. You click on each variety and it gives you all different details about how to plant them, the disease and pest resistance. They run out a lot, and they have a lot back order. But if you get them in soon enough, like if you order in January, February, you'll have them by the time you need to plant in your greenhouse or you need to plant outside.
See, that's a good tip. Most people wait around till the last minute and
Yes.
they say, okay, I'd like to plant some stuff.
Yeah.
And by that time, everybody else is thinking about it, and next thing you know, you've got problems getting them in.
Right. If you order early enough, you can even order in November, December. When you get your seed, just store them properly in a cool, dry space.
And they can last, what, a couple years?
And usually on the packet, it'll say when they expire.
So there are all kinds of charts to look online about what area you're in, whether you're watching this in Oregon, Canada, wherever, and we have a vast viewership out there of folks all over the place. So you can look at what region you're in. Then I would suggest too, you look up what kind of tomato you want to grow. What do you want to do? Do you want to can your tomatoes? Do you want fresh tomatoes to eat right out of the garden? Do you want to do both? So what do you settle on today? What are you planning and why?
We have quite a few different things. Because we have a fermentation and distillation program here at KSU, so we'll grow a lot of tomatoes that we can process for different programs and activities for that. We also have some heirloom tomatoes that you can cut up and eat on a sandwich, or you can just eat fresh out of the garden. And then we also have a couple commercial varieties that it's a nice, big, pretty tomato and that grows quickly.
So just give us an example of what it says on the back.
Yeah, so this is an Amish paste tomato. It's an heirloom tomato. It's good for canning, salsa. You can also slice it up, eat it on a sandwich. It's just an all-around good tomato. And on the back here, it'll give you the planting depth. So we'll want to plant them about 1/4 inch deep in flats or cold frames, 5 to 6 weeks before we are going to transplant them outside. So we're going to plant them now, and then 5 to 6 weeks from now, which will be the end of April, early May, we'll take them outside because they'll be probably 2 to 3 inches and they'll be a little hardier and can stand the outside.
We do not want them to succumb to frost.
That's right.
We got wacky weather here in Kentucky and things can happen.
We do.
So if you will, just kind of walk us through it, show us what the seeds look like. And again, this is basic information for folks who are just starting. Everybody has their own way, but
They're little teeny tiny seeds. Some people, you can just use your fingers and pinch them if you have big girthy fingers. There's lots of different tools like this. They help you get a better hold on the seeds, and then you can kind of slide them to the front and drop them in. We have a container with some moist soil. You don't want to get it too wet, just moist enough.
now if you don't have access to soil, is that just potting soil? What kind of mixture is that?
This is Pro Mix. It's a seed starting soil. Your local garden store, feed store, and you'll just want to get like a seed starting mix or just a general garden potting mix. They make it very simple and easy. On the front of the bag, they'll say starting mix or garden mix, and then there'll be certain types strictly for tomatoes, and so you'll just have to go through and look at the different bags that they have available.
So here's our soil, there's our seeds, and that's basically how you get started.
That's right.
It's just that simple. So
Yep.
how deep are we going?
We're going 1/4 inch, which isn't very much at all. Some people can use the tip of a pencil and you just do a little hole and then you just drop your seed right in there. And then you just cover it up. You don't want to compact it too much, but yep, you just cover it up just a little bit and then you water it. You want to use kind of like a mister water. You don't want to full blast on the garden hose or it'll drown it and compact it even more.
So how often? You just keep it moist at all times?
You'll probably want to, depending on where you're starting your seeds, like in a greenhouse, if it's really sunny and hot, you'll probably want to water them once a day. You just want to keep your soil moist.
Now could you, if you wanted to, set these in the window
You could, absolutely.
in your own house? I mean,
Absolutely, because most people, their temperature in their house is 68 to 70. Some people go a little hotter than that, which is the ideal temperature that you want to start seeds with.
what's the rule of thumb for putting tomato plants in?
There, depending on who you talk to, is the rule of thumb. I've had some people that say you don't plant outside before Derby Day. You always plant the Sunday after Derby Day.
All right, so the next step is to, we'll see, we're gonna put the actual plants once they go, and then we'll just take a visit next time we see some green out here. What else is going on the farm here?
We're doing a lot of ground prep. We have a lot of projects going in the ground. We're working the soil to get ready for sweet corn, potatoes. We have chickens, poultry, they're getting ready to start laying more eggs as it warms up.
You know, I keep hearing pawpaws.
Yes.
What's going on with KSU and pawpaws?
We have over 10 acres of pawpaws. We hold the USDA Clonal Germplasm Repository. Pawpaws are native to Kentucky, and KSU holds the largest research facility, full-time research facility in the world. We're doing lots of research and projects to breed pawpaws for their taste, the size, storage. You don't see pawpaws in a lot of grocery stores because they don't have a very long shelf life. Once you pick them, they have around 3 to 5 days and then they're rotten. So that's one of the major things that we're trying to work out here at KSU.
There are going to be some people say, what is a pawpaw? And a pawpaw, when I was a kid, we'd be out squirrel hunting, whatever, we'd see these odd-shaped fruits and they do. They're on the vine for a short amount of time, then they start to turn black, kind of like a banana. Are they?
They're flavor-wise, they're a cross between like a banana mango flavor. They say anything you use a banana for, you can substitute pawpaw for. Cake, bread, ice cream, jams.
I had some ice cream up here one time, it was delicious.
It is.
Well, thank you so much. Step one,
Yeah.
we did it. Tomatoes in the ground. We'll be back. Thank you so much.
No problem.
last couple of years, we did something that we haven't done in a while, but it really got a lot of attention. So this year, before it happens, I'm going to throw a warning sign up.
That's right.
When the crappie get ready to bite, mid-March, starting April, what happens?
Redbud.
What happens when the redbuds bloom?
We make jelly. That's what we
Make
do.
jelly. What happens, Nikki, if you would go up to that tree and just grab a bunch of the purplish buds off and just throw them in your mouth?
They're delicious. I do it all the time.
Find some redbuds. Somebody will let you have some. Take them.
Make some
and
good
make
jelly.
some jelly like Nikki did. You're going to find something wonderful. Now we're going to make another small batch of our seasonal jelly. And again, this is not to keep around through Christmas.
Right.
Now, if you wanted to pressure can it, that'd be a whole different story.
Yeah.
This is just a quick and easy batch for the next couple weeks, and boom, we're done.
Right.
All right, Mrs. Farmer, we had a late frost, and it just about ruined this tree, but we got plenty of trees right down the hollow that are good to go. So we're gonna take about a cup.
Yeah, need 1 cup.
We need 1 cup and we're good to go.
Yes.
Small batch. Now these are good to eat right off the tree.
They really are.
They really have a nutty, even sweet taste. All right, we're back. We got boiling water. What happens next, Miss Nikki?
This is exactly like the dandelion jelly, except we're using Redbuds. And I like this one better because Redbuds are easier to pick and I didn't have to cut them.
Now look at the violet. And you know, it depends on, we got more purplish violets. Some of them are
Right.
more blue, but that's almost
That's
the same
violet
color.
jelly.
And here's the dandelion, which, oh, yum. And here's the redbud.
Redbud.
And each one of them has their own
They
subtle
do.
flavor.
They do. All right, we're going to start with 2 cups of water, bring it to boil. We're going to put in 1 cup of whatever you're using, Redbuds. If we were doing violets, it would be violets, exact same, but we're doing Redbuds. We're going to pour that in and let that boil for 3 minutes. Once it's boiled for 3 minutes, we're going to drain it just like we did the dandelions and squeeze down and get
Strain it.
Yeah, strain it down and get 3/4 of a cup of juice. We're going to take that, put it back in the pan. We're going to add 3 teaspoons of the Sure Gel to it, about a tablespoon of lemon juice. I'm just going to squeeze a little bit in here. And then we're going to put in a little bit of the vanilla. We just kind of shake in a couple shots of that. Get that boiling. Once it's boiling, we're going to add our 1.5 cups of sugar, boil 3 minutes, and we got jelly again.
That's pretty simple. That's really simple.
You know what it tastes like? Kelly just said cotton candy. It has a cotton
does.
candy
It
taste
does.
almost.
It's really good.
Yes, it is. So this will make us 4 little jars.
Somebody asked last week, if you only have 3/4 of a cup of liquid, how in the world do you come up with 16 ounces? Well, the main ingredient in this really healthy deal is sugar.
1.5 cups sugar added to
Don't
that.
forget the sugar,
Yes.
a little bit of pectin. And there we have it.
It's that simple. We'll
Now
let
it's going to
these-
set up. We're going to pop it in the refrigerator, and then we're going to enjoy some in just a little while. It has its own unique flavor. It's not like the dandelion jelly.
No, it's not. The kids would like this. It's like cotton candy. We put a little, and I thought this might be a good way. This is the way Lisa.
Now we don't have any brie, so we're doing
Cream cheese.
poor man's brie.
But this makes it even better. So we'll put a little cream
This
cheese.
is our dessert. So we're just
That's a
gonna-
good dessert. We're kind of being healthy with the
Now
pretzel.
that jelly's a little hot because it was sitting next to the stove while we're cooking, so it's a little runny. But
Yeah.
look, ooh, I'm going to make a sandwich here, Mrs. Farmer. Look at that.
I could just eat. That's good. And with the salty pretzel, that's perfect. That's a perfect appetizer.
That's going to be a gooey mess, and I love it.
Yes, it is.
Lots of people might be thinking, well, how in the world could I get some of those recipes like that? And Mrs. Farmer, if you were picking up your sled dog
Okay.
in Alaska and somebody
Yes.
came up to you and said, Mrs. Farmer, because we do have yours in Alaska,
Then we do.
how do I get your recipes? What would you tell them?
You go to timfarmerscountrykitchen.com.
And then they might say, well, hey, while you're still here and your sled dogs are going
Right.
crazy, what about Facebook? Do you possibly have a Facebook page? And is it difficult to access? What would you say?
Very difficult. You hit like. I know.
Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. Come on, we're getting our numbers up there.
Yes, we are.
We want to get to 1 million
That's right.
very shortly. So check us out over there as well. And remember, it's all about
Good times
good friends.
and really good eats.
And we'll see you next week with a brand new Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We have been catering for a lot of years, and I wanted everything to have a specific taste. Therefore, I had to come up with my own products.
Right.
A dry rub, chow chow, and our barbecue sauce are something that we use in all our catering gigs. I developed this barbecue sauce that is not the really thick, syrupy stuff that you get. This has more of a natural, it's got some pepper and onion flavor in it. You can actually see the particulates in there. You know, a lot of people are asking what we use our dry rub on. Now, obviously, pork and chicken are two of the more common things. Also, we've been using on our corn on the cob with butter.
That is.
I'm telling you, this
It's
stuff
wonderful.
with potatoes is fantastic. So 40 years in the making, Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen Dry Rub.